What Can I Say is a tight-lipped word guessing game where you have to deal with what you're dealt. Kimberly here, and I'm super excited to share with you why I like What Can I Say and what makes it pretty unique because it checks off a lot of my boxes. Party game, team game, which means cooperative play in teams, word game, and real-time game. I love those, and it does some stuff that I've never seen before, which really gets all of those creative juices flowing, which again has so much educational potential, so I like bringing games like this into my classroom. So here's how the game works. Players are going to divide up into two teams, and there's going to be team 1, team 2, make it about as even as you can. The first team is going to pull someone up to the front, and then the other team is going to have a representative that stands behind them, a la Taboo, because this kind of reminds you a little bit of Taboo from days of yore. You are going to have that person who stands behind you and might potentially hand you penalty cards if you break the rules. But if you get your players to guess the 6 words on your card, you get a point. So these are going to be the point cards in green. Now, here's what you do first, though. You are going to flip over the top 4 cards from What You Can Say deck. So this is the yellow deck, and you'll see what you can say because you're not allowed to say things that your rules don't let you say. The first one says, better letter. You can say words that have 2 of the same letters in a row. So we're going to keep this card right down here. This is one of the rules for the clue giver this round. Let's take a look at our next one. Mountaineer. You can say words including a U, a V, or W. Okay, so now we're building up what we can say. Again, if I'm giving clues this first round, these are my rules and my rules only. Word nerd. You can say any 4-letter words. Okay, nice. I'm excited. I'm building up what I can say. And lastly, my final rule is yummy dinner. You can say any 2-syllable words. Okay, so now that I've gotten all of these rules out here, I am going to make sure that everybody at the table, everyone in the game can hear them. I'm going to review them myself because if I say, for example, a 3-syllable word or a single-syllable word that's not 4 letters and doesn't have a U, V, or W and doesn't have 2 letters in a row of the same letter, I'm going to receive a penalty point. So I'm going to have these restrictions. The person who comes up behind me has to fully understand them so that they can hand out those penalty points, but they're essentially there to double check and make sure that players are playing correctly. So now that we've established the rules for the round, what you can say, this player is going to, as the clue giver, draw the card that says what they must say. This is what your team must say for you to earn a point. So you are going to look here, and I love how, economical this game is. So what can I say? You play through the entire deck of cards, and there are going to be 94 cards, 36 are rules, and then the others are going to be this deck here. You'll see how many cards there are right here. There are 48 of these. So you've got 48 times 3, essentially, because you only are going to be reading the A. Don't worry about B and C until you've gone all the way through the deck, and by that time, you've forgotten all the combinations, and you're going to go to the next one. Then you're going to go to C. But at this point, all you do is care about this. I need my players to say jump, paint, mix, thirsty, practice, and defense. They need to say these words. And there are some quick rules for the table that remind you of the rules on clue giving and guessing. But this is it. This is what I want my players to say. Now again, they can't see this, and only I can see that, plus the person who's standing behind me from the other team. And then I'm going to flip over this sand timer and go. I'm going to be giving clues. I can say any 2-syllable words. I can use words including a U, V, or W. I can say words that have 2 of the same letters in a row, and you can say any 4-letter words. And then again, points for positives, and then penalties. So Here's how it works. Giving clues. You can only give the clues that are allowed by any or all of the face-up rule cards. So that means as long as I'm following one of my cards, I'm still in the good. Target words must be guessed from top to bottom, but the clue giver may say skip and move on to the next card. No form or part of the target word may be said. For example, you can't say choose for chosen or tree for treehouse. No initials, no acronyms, no abbreviations. No gestures, sound effects, or noises unless the rule card allows it. Then guessing and scoring, players on any team except the referee may guess. If they guess correctly, they get a point card. So you're giving clues and you want your team to guess, but the other team can also run in and nab a point card by guessing it correctly. The referee monitors the clue giver to make sure no rules are broken or else a penalty card is given, which are the red cards, and the word is skipped automatically if you break a rule. Score after each turn, each point card is worth 2 points for the clue giver's team and 1 point for the referee's team. So it still is valuable, but if it's your opponents giving the clues, you get essentially half value. The game ends when every member of each team takes a turn as the clue giver, and if they're uneven, the same number of turns must be taken. Another way that the round ends is if you've gone through all 6 of the words and or gotten them or skipped or had a penalty, or if you have received all 3 penalty cards. If that's the case, that round is over. So this is the game, and honestly, it's just the most interesting thing I've seen because of the restrictions, because of the parameters, and the fact that these can all come together in a variety of ways. It's fascinating. There are some really, really interesting rules here. For example, don't delay. You can say words that begin with D. You can say words with exactly one E. You can say words that include a Y. You can say words ending in ing. All point cards are worth 1 additional point if you flip over the bonus round, which means you only get 3 rules, but it makes it less likely for you to have options. Lip reading, you can silently mouth the target word. I will attest to this being one of the hardest rules. I sat with my mom. She visited with me right after I received this game, and we played it, just the 2 of us, for fun before I got into a big group. I wanted to learn the game. And I kept mouthing, and we couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop smiling. And you can't mouth words if you're smiling and you're laughing because you're not allowed to make noise either. You can only make silent mouth sounds. Then you can make sound effects. Sound effects are really, really hard to do too because sometimes they turn into words. Beep beep is to me a word, but it also sounds like a sound that a car makes. Fun stuff. You can reveal the number of letters in the target word. That's wild. So these parameters are coming at your word from a very, very different point of view. Revealing the vowels, which vowels are in the target word. It just goes and goes and goes, and they have fun titles, a variety of colors here. And I absolutely see this game growing with more of the what they must say cards and then also what you can say. But I like the fact too that both teams are guessing, and so you're playing constantly. I mean, that's one thing about party games is you want everyone to play and you want everyone to feel involved, and in this game they do. So even if it's the opponent's turn giving clues, if they're particularly good and you get it, you get to guess it, and if you're right, you get 1 point for your team. And of course, if you guess your own teams, you're going to get 2 points for every correct guess. It's a fun challenge. It's an interesting challenge. It's a great big group game. There really is no max capacity to the game because you can have as many people as you want on both teams. So this is a delightful, fascinating, unique word party guessing game that, of course, real time. So again, tick, 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 all the boxes, tons of fun. I hope you check out What Can I Say?